Tia's Musings. Hear about the horrific injustices displayed in my blog, forgotten historical criminal justice battles, domestic law history, and international law crisis, discussed in the context of its effects today. Only at Brief Legal Briefs with Tia.law.blog. That is, Brief Legal Briefs with Tia.law.blog. Genocide. The world's history has been tainted by many instances of violence targeted at specific groups of people due to either their ethnicity or belief. The Rwandan genocide targeted the Tutsis because of their ethnicity. During the European settlements in Rwanda, the colonists needed an identifier to separate the populations of Rwanda. Belgian settlers defined Tutsis as any person that owned more than 10 cows, which indicated wealth. Also, anyone with facial features such as longer noses or necks were considered Tutsis. Only the Tutsis were allowed to be educated and participate in political issues. This left the Hutus devastated and angry. They were the majority of the community and lashed out by raping and macheteing Tutsi people. They left 800,000 people dead. How did the government manage to punish these criminals? The problem was 65% of the country were accused of crimes. The gotcha codes were invented. The accused was brought before court members and witnesses to explain what they saw. There were over 100,000 elected judges among the communities, but they lacked legal qualification. The accused, the victims, and the witnesses get to say their piece of what they saw. It was a very sentimental event for them. Some accused that were found guilty were sentenced for long sentences with hard labors. Others were released and sent back to the communities to rebuild roads. I believe genocide is a human act when words are not enough. How can we bring more humanity to the discussion of genocide? Hi, this is Tia. I know in my teaser I said the genocides mentioned will be from the last 3 decades, but one of the guest speakers could not make it in this video. So we have Shireen discussing the Jewish genocide that took place during World War II between 1939 to 1945. Enjoy.
Hi, my name is Shireen Ahmed, and I am studying political science from Rutgers University, and I am going to be discussing the Jewish genocide. The mass genocide of the Jewish community was a devastating event in our history. After Americans found the concentration camps in Germany, some of the freed victims that returned home feared for their lives. In post-war Poland, for example, there were a number of pogroms, which are violent anti-Jewish riots. After years of struggling to find a home and settle down, the American Jewish Joint Distribution Committee provided Holocaust survivors with food and clothing, while the Organization for Rehabilitation through Training offered vocational training. Refugees also formed their own organizations, and many labored for the establishment of an independent Jewish state in Palestine. In 1948, the U.S. Congress passed the Displaced Persons Act. The act provided approximately 400,000 U.S. immigration visas for displaced persons between January 1st, 1949 and December 31st, 1952.
And now, I present David Ho to talk about the Uyghurs.
Hello, my name is David Ho, and I'm here to share the plight of the Uyghur people in China. Not all genocides have to be measured with a body count, and the cultural genocide of the Uyghurs is a perfect example of how genocides can be achieved without the use of violence. Uyghurs are ethnically Turkish Muslims living in Xinjiang province in China, and are currently facing an erasure of their culture. In recent years, Chinese government officials have been sent to live with Uyghur families. These officials are there to combat religious extremism, separatist ideologies, as well as terrorism. Yet, residents within these programs are required to share their daily lives as well as their political views with these officials. This extreme form of supervision allows the Chinese government to control the beliefs of the Uyghur people and thus enforcing Chinese control. In 2018, a UN committee estimated that up to 1 million Uyghur Muslims are detained in Western Xinjiang in internment camps. These internment camps are deemed re-educational programs. Former inmates have reported that those interred within these camps are required to learn Mandarin Chinese as well as renounce their faith. The Chinese government also deliberately targets Uyghur cultural leaders to be interred within these camps. Uyghur cultural leaders, academics, and poets are all sentenced to be part of these camps. Such measures are said to counter Islamic extremism, but targeting these major cultural leaders leads to the eradication of local culture and language and promotes Chinese hegemony.
Very interesting points you bring up here, David. How can we bring more humanity into the discussion of genocide?
Well, I would say the international community will have to start criticizing China for their actions and hold them accountable in order to end this modern-day genocide.
Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a better understanding of the current climate of genocide today. Thank you. Have a good day. Goodbye.